Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Best. This is their part number 5L7RD2626. This is a cabinet lock is what it is. This is a common cabinet lock. We sell these often, and this is available in different variants or different configurations, really. And this is the 5L7RD2626. And we're going to dissect that part number. Okay, this is, well, we'll dissect it after we take some dimensional properties. Overall face of the cylinder housing itself, about 1 1/16. Overall width, the mounting points, appears to be right at about 2 9/16. Overall depth looks like it's about 1 9/16. The width of the body on the back, for the sake of doing it, about 1 5/8. The height of that body, about 1 13/16. Obviously small format, interchangeable core. Best, Frank Best, in the early 1920s, 1921 time frame, patented the small format core. Has been cloned, copied, duplicated ad infinitum over the last 100 years, and that cylinder format remains incredibly strong. And not only for the reasons that made it, very likely attractive to potential clients initially, the ability to immediately extract a core and put in a new core, disallowing prior keying from working at a moment's notice. But the invention and the technology would be no good without spectacular technical support, customer service. I speak more from a technical support perspective when dealing with Best. And also very high quality material. You're going to be getting very high quality material, whether it be a cabinet lock from Best or a grade 1 lever or a mortise lock. And I would think that it's the confluence of all of those that have kept the small format core, even though it's been copied by everyone, is what has kept it in the mainstream for a century. So let's look at the extended description down below this video. This is a 5L cabinet lock. It's a 7-pin. It's a rim-style deadbolt in a vertical orientation in a satin chrome finish. Nickel-plated zinc case and bolts, stainless steel cover, phosphor bronze spring. It's a grade 2 lock. This has a back set of 7/8. Let's take a look at that. Everything has a back set. Even a cabinet lock. So the edge of the door, which is where the cabinet lock body would flush to the center of the cylinder prep is indeed the 7/8 point that you see on the tape measure. So it's really measured this way, is the way I should be holding it. Okay, 7/8. Body thickness 1/2 inch. They must be meaning this. Yeah, they're meaning the body thickness. When I put my caliper onto it, it's basically 1/2 inch, 0.475. Okay. Length 2 1/8, width, thickness, hole spacing 2 13/16. We didn't take that dimension. Kind of eyeball it there on the camera, if we will. 2 3/16 is what they say. I would certainly see no trouble with that. Cylinder diameter 1 1/8. That we didn't take yet. 1.124. 1.124. The deadbolt has a 3/4 inch throw, and I will get a small format core and see if we can manipulate that. Okay, so I've come up with a core. The tailpiece just isn't, the driver just isn't exactly vertical. Sorry. Okay, got it pretty close now. Okay, got a core inserted into it. .360-degree rotation. You can remove the key in either instance. Okay, let's test the projection. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so let's take a look at what the manufacturer says about the projection of the bolt. They have it at half-inch throw. Okay, they give us some dimensions of 3/4 by 25/64, so 3/4 by 3/8 maybe. 3/4, 0.735, thickness of the bolt, 0.391. Okay, this is going to be used on a minimum thickness of a 5/8 of an inch door for rim type, and 21/32 of a door for a mortise type. Okay, so be mindful of the minimum door thickness. We measured the length of the body, so you know, getting longer or getting thicker, I should say, is not going to be problematic. And because this is small format and it is a tip-stopped type of construction, you've got a lot of room here to rotate the key in your casework. So if this sat a little bit, you know, under the head of the board, which you certainly probably want a collar at that point, it wouldn't be the end. It wouldn't be necessarily problematic long term. And okay, so there's also a template that is included. That would be handy. Before you install, if you use hollow metal doors, determine whether the doors are reinforced enough to support the lock. That's true, you don't want to just run the screws through there. For deadbolt functions, extend the bolt before installing the core. Now, I did not observe the installation instructions of installing or throwing the deadbolt before installing the core, and the reason is clearly just for better operation. When you insert the key, you're going to turn that key 180 degrees, and it just seems to work, quite frankly, just more appropriately that way. Let's take a closer look at that. So as I was saying earlier, the excellent technical support, it was discovered why this note is on the back of the template. Important for deadbolt functions, extend the bolt before installing the core. Well, this will work just fine either way. However, they have a T function, and a T function is the deadlock, deadbolt only, and that is basically a key retaining scenario where the key can be removed only when you have a locked condition. So obviously by extending the bolt before you insert the core, it will time the lock so that you can get it to turn all the way, unlock, you open the door, key stays in until you close the door and turn it out and take the key out. If you didn't have it timed correctly, you could probably throw it and then unthrow it, but you could never remove the key in such a condition where it was operating correctly. So that's what they're looking for in that regard. That's why that's there. So, perfect example of exceptional technical support. So we have our lock. Going to remove the core with this clone cylinder. I'm sorry, Frank Best, I did just stick a clone into it. Now there's a strike plate that's going to be obviously included for the face of your material. Okay, whatever you're installing it against. That's going to have the dimensional properties as follows. Overall length of the strike, 1 7/8 inches. Overall width, about 11/16 or so, maybe 5/8. That's going to be not made of steel. It's probably going to be zinc, would be my guess. They say the finish is 626. That's going to refer to the face of this lock. I don't know the base material of the strike. It's very likely just a zinc base material is probably what it is. Okay, now, there are some screws and a spacer along with it. The two small screws are going to be for your strike. The two bigger screws, of course, will be for the lock body itself. That black disc is if you are using a 6-pin cylinder. Now, the lock works just fine without the disc in a 6-pin environment. Indeed, I just inserted a 6-pin cylinder into it. It is recommended that you use that black disc because, well, it was engineered that way. Plus, I would think that you're going to have on the two driving bars that are inside of here, you'll have less micro flex on those two bars when you have that spacer that's forcing the two bars to stay parallel to each other. So if you've got 6-pin cylinders, drop that down in. And you can have a 5-pin cylinder. They do make that. This thickness of that plug's not intended for a 5-pin environment. Let's take a couple of dimensional properties of that disc. I would like to record what that size is. The thickness of the disc is 0.145 thick, and then you'll just drop that down into the cylinder, obviously. Probably going to be a bit of a chore to get that in there. I probably would use tweezers to get that placed right where I need rather than trying to drop it and hope it falls in straight. Now, there is a link below this video to the template, and it is not the document that's included. It is a technical drawing of the item from the manufacturer. The installation instructions are also linked to down below, and we can take a look at that. And that is, they do not indicate the requirement to time the bolt correctly. So what I will do is I will actually scan this and upload it. By the time you're seeing this video, that will be there for your review. Now, there's also a link to the product catalog, and that is where we can look at the overview of the cabinet locks from Best. And we will get to the 5L section, which will be page 3, is where that overview starts. And what you're going to see there are the mounting positions. You've got your rim vertical mounting in a latch scenario, or you have a mortise style. Okay, and obviously that's going to be intended when you are going to be, the plate is basically reversed so that you're going to mortise it to the back of the cabinet. Not uncommon at all. You're going to have you've got vertical mount, you have inverted, left-hand mount is there as well. Then you have your bolt options. Again, rim or mortise. Rim is surface mounted. It means it's applied to the face of the rim of the door, the outside perimeter. The mortise, again, is where you're going to mortise it to the back of the door of the cabinet. You've got a left-hand mount and then an inverted mount. All of that matters because of the orientation of the housing in relationship to the lock body itself. I don't initially see a major difference between a left-hand vertical mount and a rim vertical mount. And given the fact that they're not, giving us any way to designate left or right-hand mount in the how to order, I would say that we're going to be dealing with the same lock, just tipped on its side, obviously. So the how to order on the bottom of page 4, it's going to always be a 5L. It will always be a 7. There is no option for 6. You can use a 6-pin, just use the disc that's there. Then you're going to get into the rim or the mortise design, and that will have to be decided, obviously, whether you're going to mortise it to the back of the door or just surface mount it in a rim. You will either be doing a deadbolt or a latch bolt situation, and you'll either be doing inverted or vertical or inverted. Obviously, that's going to dictate exactly the orientation of the cylinder housing in relationship to the body. If you're doing a vertical mount, it will look like this. If we were going to invert that, we would have to rotate this 180 degrees for it to work correctly. You're going to select your finish. That's going to be appropriate for the face of this material. Then your options, you can do the T option, which is that deadlock, deadbolt only. That is that key retaining scenario that we had talked about earlier. Or the TR, special trim ring. And there is a reference to the special trim ring in the document called installation instructions. And that would be very nice in that scenario where you were installing it and wanted a finished perimeter around the mortise housing. I'm actually surprised we don't sell more of the trim ring option because just having a hole drilled would be a nice, neat look. I might want the edge of that finished. However, the majority of these that we sell are not the TR option. The trim ring packages, you can indeed, there are some variants of that are used on different cabinet locks on page 5. On page 4 are the reference to the strike plates. The A450 is the standard strike and is supplied unless otherwise noted. Okay, I believe what they have there is a reference to the part number for both of those. There's a part number and a product number. It's that sort of scenario. They do understand what you need in terms of both of them. One part number may show up in the catalog, the other may show up in a price list or in a technical drawing. So you can see that they have different options. If you're going to be doing a rim-mounted bolt, you're probably going to want a rim-mounted deadbolt. You would indeed want the standard strike. If you were doing perhaps something that was mortised in a bolt, you'd want the A450 one. Okay. Those are going to be supplied unless otherwise specified. So I would indicate in the comment field the strike that's necessary for your application. If you are doing a latch style, you're either going to be doing an A452 or an A453, so be sure to indicate the requirement of that. I don't believe that they're substituted in at no charge. I think they're purchased as a separate standalone line item. So be mindful to select the proper strike when you're doing your installation. Okay. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the best products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Again, I am quite partial to this manufacturer, proven time and time again with the caliber of their customer support, even just during the making of this video. Deeply appreciated. An excellent outfit, round and round, and has been for 100 years. Any questions on the 5L7RD2 and a 626 finish, or any other best product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.